Welcome to the Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast with your co-hosts Teague Fenwick and Steve Lurkwood.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast. I'm your host, Teague Fenwick, coming to you from Holmen. Joining me, as always, from Waterloo is my co-host, Steve Lurkwin. Steve, great to be here.
Teague, is it the most wonderful time of the year or what?
It truly is the most wonderful time of the year. It is Individual State Week.
Song, Christmas commercial that keeps popping in my head with the people running around with the carts. It's the most, I won't sing because I want this to go well for everybody, but you know, it's the most wonderful time of the year and you fill in the music and sing the song.
That's how my brain feels right now, is that commercial. Hey, how sick is that? We got the intro live now. I'm glad we got the intro song rolling.
I like it.
Steve, real quick, how was your weekend? We got 54 brackets to talk about, so we'll make it quick here.
Yeah, we should probably prop right into it, but mine was great. I tell you, you know, everybody talks about different sectionals and which one's tougher, and I haven't been up to the I take that back. It's been about 3 years. The COVID year, I got to get into D2 Sectional B up when I was at Seymour and see all those tough teams go at it and watch them live. And it was good. I mean, heck, there was one-way class 145 where the top three ranked kids they're all in the top 3 or 4, whatever it is, all from in the same bracket. You know, it's pretty tough. And then the girls division, I got real emotional when they did the face off for the girls and watching those girls run out there and shake hands and then wrestle for a chance to go to state. That was fun. I know last year there was a state tournament, but to officially have a qualifier, it felt good.
It adds a huge extra level to it that I love for sure. Yeah, Eau Claire North was pretty fun. Technical issues wise, Steve, we just had fire alarms go off like 3 times. So that was what we had to do.
I heard that. There was who was it? Ari was wrestling and they were scrapping a little bit, and all of a sudden the fire alarms went off. Wasn't that match?
It was that match, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm not live on Rockfin. All right, yeah. It was Ari and Cradaville right at the end. But yeah, no, that was. I'm sure you saw the video of that. Where it's
did, yeah, on it. That was pretty sweet.
With like 10 seconds left. Also, love all the people up there, especially being at the same regional and then the same sectional. Just a lot of good interactions this weekend. Just it made my heart full. I'll just say that much.
See, this was a really good one. We had a few technical issues at Wrightstown, but one of them was the AD and God bless his heart, he couldn't get the national anthem going. Right? I mean, heck, we've seen that happen before, and panic started to strike in, and some lady with a beautiful voice across the way. So what happened was his phone was playing it, or something was playing it, but it was very soft, so you could hear the Star Spangled Banner, but you couldn't. It wasn't near loud enough. And some lady with a great voice across from me, man, I don't know what section she was sitting in, but all of a sudden she just started singing the national anthem, and then everybody just joined in. So the fans sang the national anthem at the Wrightstown Division II section. That was pretty sweet. That was a highlight moment, and the AD gets. It was great. And the AD gets done and he goes, yeah, that was better than the music anyway. So, and he was right.
That's a wholesome moment right there.
It was fun to be a part of.
Real quick, so we did the seeding show yesterday. Joe Miller and I did. And the seed reveal was a fun time. Finally getting used to like the TV thing where people are talking in your ear, telling you if you need to slow up or speed down. I didn't throw up from nerves or anything like that, so that was fun. But pretty well reviewed. A lot of people had watch parties about it. And, yeah, we actually had a pretty nice person on Twitter. I'm going to share their tweet, actually. I don't know if you can see the screen or not. But can you see it? All right, I'm going to put a little tweet on the interface
No, I can't.
here. It might be one of my favorite tweets of all time. But I check out the WIAA stream on Twitter after the show. Like, oh, I wonder what people thought of it, or what did people think of the seeds? And this fine gentleman here, Mr. B. Weezy the Don, who signed off on hiring Teague. He has the IQ of a potato and the hygiene of a homeless person. And that was I laughed for several minutes after that one. I just this man tuned into the seeding show, and I hope his day got better after that, but I just happened to be target numero uno there, and I had to share that with the people.
Well, that's nice.
Oh, maybe I'll just keep that in the corner. I almost want to like get a shirt for it and like wear it at the state tournament or something. But
sure,
no, just wanted to share that with the people. It was funny. James McGillivray, who tunes in live regularly, he said, "Well, I guess I agree with the homeless part on that one." So little callback to our first live with the people. Also, sorry, Rockman people, I forgot to press go live. Thank you for tuning in. But Steve, all right, we got a little transition there with Uncle Don. Let's talk about the state tournament. Like I said, we got 54 brackets to talk about. And we're basically, this is kind of one of my favorite episodes because we just get to talk about the brackets as fans. Like, just matches that we can potentially see. We get to make our picks, of course. And I don't know, it's just a good time. I think we're going to go ladies first here. First girls tournament in the Kohl's Center. And I know seating show-wise, it went D3, D2, D1 in girls, so I'm just going to flip this one around here. Oh, cool. We got the Facebook spam comments. Don't click on the links for the folks watching our Facebook that are being posted in the comments right now.
All right.
But Steve,
nice.
I
well,
guess,
hey, and just so everybody knows here, yeah. Oh, go ahead. So I don't get any Uncle Don Twitter comments. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to man the comments, try to comment on there, and really just make my picks and add where I can. But just to keep things flowing a little bit more, we're gonna let Teague do most of the commentary on it, and I'll fill in and just add a little bit. So rock and roll.
Old Spud brain over here. All right. Well, let's start at 100 pounds here, Steve. I guess just a couple observations. So I know yesterday it was kind of like run through the top 4 seeds and talk about that stuff. I'm just going to go top to bottom. It's going to try to be a little more free-flowing. But, Steve, there's 7 returning state champions this year. 3 of them are sophomores. You know we love our preemptive 4-timer state talk. Get to start the conversation off tonight with Miss Brooke Corrigan of De Pere, who is the 1 seed. And then on the opposite side of the bracket, you have another undefeated freshman. It's Kylie Klum of Westby, a 15-0 freshman. Steve, here's a matchup I'm potentially looking forward to. So first of all, first round matchup between Mauston and Holman. Doesn't get much better than that for me. You have Madeline Gazda of Mauston-Nisita. She's going against one of the additional qualifiers I know, Nora Lee of Holman, who is the 10 seed. She did play second in her bracket, but there was an empty bracket elsewhere, so she did get that additional qualifier spot. And Steve, I would love to see too a potential matchup between Lee and Klum, who Holman and Westby not that far away from each other, but they have not met up yet this year. So that would be a fun quarterfinals matchup. The 3 seed in this one, though, Steve, Isabel Sonnentag. Get this record, 35-1. That's racking up a lot of matches on the year. She's the 3 seed. I think whoever she meets in the semis, that could be a fun matchup. I know her and Lee did wrestle at the Challenge Series earlier in the year. And on the top side of the bracket, I know Corrigan, of course, I think probably would be a lot of people's picks here. I hope to see the 5 seed Ava Gardner from Marshfield make it to the semis because Gardner just looked really impressive at the sectional. She beat Lee, I think it was 13-2. Or something along those lines. So I'd like to see her match up against Corrigan. I know how good Corrigan is, but hey, I mean, it should be a fun one. So I guess we got picks now, unless you got something to add there.
That's right.
But all right, what
no,
do you choose?
If you want to give everybody so we can make the same picks this year.
Yeah, so state-wise, we make
Correct.
the same picks because we are trying to beat each other with this one. It's This is all-out competition.
All right.
Well, you're always tails. It went tails. So
Nice. Yes. You didn't ask me. Wow. Hey, I don't have a lot to add. I'm just going to say it right away. I'm taking Brooke Corrigan.
All right, yeah, could be. Maybe there could be someone that challenges her this year. One of the freshmen on the bottom side of the bracket. Maybe it could be Gardner, but yeah, I'm also going with Corrigan in this bracket. 107 pounds, Steve. I think the two matchups we got to talk about right away are the top two seeds matchups. So you have Savannah Millermont of Glenwood City, who's a place winner from last year. She is Emma Haiti from Richland Center, who got the 16 seed. And Haiti's a pretty tough wrestler. So that could be It could be a good test for Millermont right off the bat. And then Brianna Derwin from Menasha got the 2 seed, also a place winner from last year. I think she got 5th. Steve, can you break down? We got another additional qualifier here at this weight class.
Yeah, the at-large bid, Ava Peters from Seymour. I got to watch the finals between Taylor Whiting and Ava. It was 3-1. It was a really good match. They're all kind of coming in together. I thought there was no score after the first period, but two really solid wrestlers. That's a tough 15-2 first round matchup, Teague.
And then, of course, speaking of talented freshmen, Steve, you brought her up. Taylor Whiting from O'Connell Falls did get the 5 seed in this bracket. She's opposite Aliana Ryder of Milwaukee Ronald Reagan, the 35-2 junior. One of Reagan's 3 qualifiers on the ladies' side this year. Then McWanago, who has 4 qualifiers. They have this could be a fun quarterfinals matchup here. You have Kaylin Whittier of McWanago, who is the 3 seed, and Savannah Danielson of Wausau West got the 11 seed. But the Danielson girls are tough, so they will not be an easy out for anybody. And I guess I got the first round pick with this one. Not first round, I just got the first pick.
First pick.
So you kind of, when you told me the score of that matchup, it kind of maybe you want to stray away from this, or maybe going Peters, who lost the match, would be a fun one. But Steve, 4-time state champion Clayton Whiting doesn't call her the better Whiting for no reason. So I'm going to take
my lines.
I'm going to take the 20-1 freshman Taylor Whiting here as my state champion pick.
Teague, here I thought all along, I'm just kind of like getting excited because I thought I was going to steal one from you. And that's the exact same line that I was going to use. So whatever Teague just said as far as the better Whiting, diddle that, reiterate it, but I'm taking Whiting as well.
So first of all, Jason Rodriguez, good to see you, man. I think we'll be talking about someone you're familiar with in a little bit here. Matt Fry on Rockfin. My favorite show used to be Yellowstone, but now it's Steve and Homeless Teague. All right, 114 pounds. Steve,
oh, man.
Right away, for the folks that are newer to wrestling, I always say this is a girl who I'd tell people to watch if they want to get into wrestling.
Yes.
The 1 seed of Bopa Quintana from Sun Prairie, state champion last year. Just the offensive firepower that she brings to the table is awesome. And hey, you talked about the first Danielson, or I did. Ashley Danielson from Wausau West is the 9 seed in this bracket. Steve, Maddie Peach from Milton got the 12 seed, which that's not a bad draw for her. I'd say that's just a bad draw for anyone that she's going against.
Yeah. Bad draw because she's on the top side with Bopa, right? I mean, that's a rough one.
That could be that's a finals levels match right there that we could see in the semis if that comes to fruition. Steve, the bottom side of the bracket got a couple of place winners mixed in with the freshmen as well. Oh, I didn't even notice this the first time I looked at the bracket. So Vanessa Gavian of Sparta is the 10 seed. She's taking on the 7 seed Angie Bianchi of 2 Rivers. And then the winner of that one, Steve, more than likely going against a state runner-up in Maya Del Rey from Azaki. Lily Becker from Brookfield East, who placed 3rd, gets the 3 seed. These top seeds they're not getting fun matchups. Becker's going against Lexi Ryle, the 20-5 junior from Shiocton. And
Teague, I'm picking first in this one, right? I mean, that's I've seen Maddie Peach wrestle live against guys, and she's tough. I've seen Angie Bianchi wrestle live. You know, obviously I just saw her this past weekend. Both of those young ladies I would take. And I think I would go opposite of you if I knew, if I had to pick second in this one, but it's tough. I've seen Bopa wrestle gentlemen as well, and she is just explosive. She can score from anywhere. She can pin from anywhere. So my pick on this one is Bopa.
You are taking Bopa, and Steve, I'm a big Bopa fan. This one hurt me a little bit, but Maddie Peach has just impressed me so much this year that I think I'm gonna go with another top end freshman. I'm going with the 12 seed. Seeding wise, maybe it's a dark horse pick, but I think Maddie Peach is gonna end up coming out on top in this bracket.
Teague, I'm still laughing at the comment. I'm gonna get. You talked about getting a shirt made. You got to get a shirt made of the Steve and the homeless Steve. That's a good one.
Is there a caricature artist that we know that could do that? That would be. I would love that. All right. Well, you're getting the giggles out. I'm gonna move on to the next bracket. Steve, the 1 seed, another returning state champion. Caitlin Kelly from Florence, Niagara, the 28-1 senior, sits atop the bracket. On the bottom side, I'm going to go right to the 3 seed here. So Natalie Clavetter from Hudson, a great wrestler as well. The 3 seed from McGuanago, Josephine Stakowski, wrestled on the guys' side last year, made it to state. This year in the girls' bracket, and I think you see it with the 7-0 record. I think she's going to do more than fine in this bracket.
Yep. Agreed.
And also, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. MJ Newman from Manitowoc Lincoln, a freshman. She is the 7th seed. Could be potentially matching up with the 2 seed Clavetter in the quarterfinals. So I think that's a match that I have circled. I think it's Thursday night. I think the girls' quarterfinals are Thursday night there.
I believe they are. Yep.
So that's our 120-pound bracket. Few observations from that one. Hey, we got a Peshtigo girl. Peshtigo doing well on the guys and girls side, Steve. Addison Olsen, the 17-7 freshman in the bracket. Yep. Who's got the one of those? Oh, I pick first here. So
you do.
I'm stuck between 2 girls with this one. I think I might have gave away my hand a little bit with it. But I think I'm going to stick with Caitlin Kelly from Florence, Niagara. Don't just like her as a wrestler, but the fact, you think of everything she has to do, like the grit and determination she has, how far she probably has to drive for her training and everything like that. I think she's just embodies everything that you want from a good wrestler. And I think I'm going to take her with my championship pick here. Not I think. I know I'm going to take her with my championship pick. And what I think would be a good finals match with Stakowski. I'll make my finals picks there.
There you go. Yeah, I told myself I was going to go. I knew you were picking first. I was just going to go opposite right off the bat. But before I take that, Kylie Ferrari of Horicon girls, pretty good wrestler as well. Just want to give a shout out to her. But I'm taking Josephine in what I think is going to be probably one of the best. Well, they're all going to be good, but one of the better finals of the night. And before we move to 126 pounds, feel free. We got some Jessica Slama's making comments that, hey, likes the Peach pick. Feel free. Tell us, keep it clean, but tell us what you think. If you don't like our pick, tell us who you would have picked and why, and keep the commentary coming. So we appreciate you guys being interactive with this. But yeah, I'm taking Stakowski.
All right, moving on to 126 pounds. Also want to thank Mr. Jason Winans real quick for the tip on Rockfin. We appreciate the love. 126 here for the ladies. The top seed, a 3rd place finisher from last year, Brooke Schoeneman from Plymouth. Steve, coached by?
Oh, Teague, I'm just thinking about him, and I talked to him all weekend long. And now I can't. Oh my gosh,
Andy Crivelone.
Coach Andy.
Yep.
Crivelone.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I put you on the spot there.
I came up behind him this weekend, and I grabbed him from behind and said, "All right, you want to go quick?" And then as soon as I did and felt his shoulders, I said, "No, I'm not going that route." But hey, shout out to him. He is about ready to have twin boys. Might be over state tournament weekend. So, way to go, Coach Andy! Congratulations for your kids coming. Going to be a new dad soon.
And Brooke is the top seed here in this bracket. Steve, the 126-pound girls bracket might be the most loaded bracket regardless of division. It's just absolutely stacked. I didn't get the exact numbers on place winners, but even girls that just performed well at the state tournament last year mixed in with the freshman talent. It's absolutely ridiculous. I guess starting off with the 8-9 matchup, you have Tahanasti Donnell of Reagan, who I believe was a place winner last year. I'm bringing up this matchup because this is why we love the state tournament. You have Donnell of Reagan taking on Aaliyah Jensen of St. Croix Falls. Steve, I looked it up. It's about a 4-hour, 53-minute drive from Milwaukee Ronald Reagan to St. Croix Falls. That's why I love state, because you're probably not getting that matchup any other time of the year.
East versus West.
Moving on to the next quadrant, you have the 5-seed Sydney Andrews from Turner, who's a 24-5 sophomore. She's a state place winner last year. Claire Spildy from Stone, who's 9-2, sits at the 12 seed. Bella Bolick of West Appear, who's 24-6, is the 13. She's taking on Lily Banks of Menasha, who's a 31-3 freshman. We talk about St. Croix and Reagan, West Appear and Menasha. That's not too far apart from each other. The 3 seed is Dealia Collins, who's a 24-1 freshman. In the quarterfinal, she could be taking on the 6 seed and a state runner-up from last year in Haley Berg from a Bonduelle. Moving to the bottom side of the bracket, you have a place winner in McKenna Hankey at the 2 seed. She's taking on Amelia Adams, the 15, who a really impressive wrestler that I got to see yesterday. And Steve, the 10 seed Rosemary Triggs placed 8th at state last year, I believe. She's taking on someone who in a tough bracket could potentially run through this bracket. I'm talking about Miss Carly Keschker from Badger. 4-0 freshman, but you know what she has on her resume this year is a Midland title.
Nice.
Wow. So
okay, you just may have helped me change my pick.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
So I guess on that note, now that we're done with 126, yeah, I think you got the first pick here.
Well, I'm just gonna stick. I didn't know that piece of information. I should have. I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't. I'm just gonna go with Collins from Mineral Point. Claire Spieldy, got to watch her run cross country, real good cross country runner as well. Like those two sport athletes, but I'm gonna go with Collins of Mineral Point.
All right. You're going with Collins of Mineral Point. I love it. I am.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it.
I'm taking Keschker. And hey, anything can happen at state,
I would
man.
too.
All I know is I am not going to miss a single match from this bracket. This is just absolutely loaded. They're at 132 pounds. Kylie Rule from Mineral Point, another returning state champ from last year. The senior is at 24-0. The 4 seed, this could be a potential semifinals matchup. You have Sophia Galoff from Brilliant, a state runner-up from last year. Hey, Steve, you got another Ferrari sister, Haley Ferrari from Horicon, who's at the 13 seed. Zandria Mason from Toma picked up the 3 seed. She looked awesome yesterday. And then I haven't seen her wrestle, so she's a bit of an unknown, but at 11-0, I'm guessing you're a solid wrestler. You have the 2 seed Angela Zimmerman from Barron. Steve, let's oh wait, I got the pick on this one. All right, I'm going first.
That
here.
you do.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kylie Rule of Mineral Point. There's a lot of good wrestlers in this bracket, but I think Rule the last couple of years has set herself apart from the pack, and I'm just not going to stray away from the Mineral Point senior.
Yeah, I'm going the same, Teague. I didn't realize I was picking 2 Mineral Point ladies in the row, but she'll looked ahead a little bit. Yeah, I'm going with Kylie Rule.
Doesn't hurt to pick double Mineral Point. Might not be the first time that happens tonight. No spoilers. All right, 138 pounds. The 1 seed state runner-up from last year, Madeline Sokolsky of a Bonduelle, sits at the top. Checking out the rest of this bracket. Steve, one of the semifinals matches that I'm most looking forward to, you have Shelly Bowman of Eau Claire North, who is the 2 seed. And then Maddie Pappenthien of Middleton is the 3 seed. She's a 15-1 senior. I think we could see a clash of styles there, Steve, in terms of wrestling technique. And I think if they do meet up in the semis, then it could be a fun battle there.
Yeah, I picked first in this one, Teague. Madeline Sokolsky from Bonduelle. The Bears. I'm going with Madeline.
Yeah, I was actually also going to take Maddie in this one. Funny story, I went up to they had like the girls teams at the Malachek team camp, and this girl like walked up to me. I was by like the Holman girls on her team. She's like, "Are you coaching me?" And I'm like, "Well, I could coach you if you want." And then she told me who she was, and I was like, "I don't think I could help you even if you wanted." So have fun this week.
That was nice.
All right, Steve, at
cool.
145 pounds, the 1 seed, another returning state champ, Haley Kruger from New London is the 1 seed here. 25-1 as a sophomore, one as a freshman, so looking part of that potential 4-timer club. We could have a state finals rematch of a match that went into sudden victory last year, Steve, because Chloe LaRue from Cuba City, Benton Southwestern is the 2 seed. But LaRue has her work cut out for her before she gets to the finals. Steve, I get to see my western side of the state dream matchup, potentially, if they both win their first 2 matches. Because the 3 seed is a Miss Evvetch from Holman, the 31-5 senior. And this was a matchup I've wanted to see for a while, so I hope it comes to fruition there. And even more western side of the state love. Sophia Paulson of Aquinas, the 18-4 sophomore, is the 4 seed here. How about Natalie Massou from Ronald Reagan with the 26-4 record at the 5 seed? And I got first pick with this one.
Looks like a good bracket. You do.
All right, I was going to say you can pick first if you want. I know. And well, no. You know what?
All right,
I'll
take the pick.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Never mind. Hey, you offered. I just thought I'd take it.
I was gonna do a build up, but you know what? So this was a close match at the Challenge Series. I forgot if it was the semis or the finals. But I know there might be a little bias in this pick, Steve, but I think the fact that she's part of like the last group of people that I coached, like I'm going to instill a little faith in her as a coach by picking her as my state champ. And you know I'll pick Holman people if I think there's a shot. I think Evvetch is going to win a tough semifinals match and to beat Haley Kruger from New London in an absolute classic in the 145-pound finals on Saturday evening. So I'm going with the homer pick, and I am feeling good about it.
I will take that bait, Teague, and I will see you in the semifinals. I'm going with Cuba City, Benton Southwestern, Chloe LaRue. And so let's see each other Friday night, Teague.
Oh, so we're both going against the state champ. All right. That's no way I can see that.
We like giving girls motivation, right? We've been hearing that all week long. We went to team sectionals last week, and we had numerous people coming up and saying, thanks for the motivation. So we just thought we'd throw a little more on the fire.
So, yeah, glad we could help out in that avenue. 152 pounds, the top seed. You have a third-place finisher from last year in the 1 spot with Brandon Weir from Osseo Fairchild, Augusta, Fall Creek. The 2 seed is Isabel Olson, who was a runner-up last year. And potential matchup between state place winners in the quarterfinals as a Kara Koog from Lomira is the 7 seed. The 4 seed in this bracket is Maeve Mahalik of Germantown. She's an 8-1 sophomore, also a state place winner. Steve, the 3 seed here, I think she might have not placed last year. Someone can correct me on that. So she might almost be an underdog for those not as familiar to the girls' side of the sport, but she's someone who's impressed me the last few years. Kaylee McFadden from Marinette, the 13-3 senior, sits in that 3 spot. So, you got the first pick in this bracket, and I'm not jealous of it. I so much I got to see her wrestle live, and she's tough. Kaylee McFadden, you just talked about her. In fact, I almost want to start writing them down. That's what I'm doing, looking off to the right here, writing down my picks, because I won't remember them. But I'm going to go with Isabel Olson from Oak Creek in that 2nd seed. Yeah, Olson, a very tough wrestler, and she was one of like 4 people that I was thinking about picking with this one. So I'm actually gonna go, Steve. I guess we're doing it again. We're picking against the 1 seed here. I'm going to take Mahalik from Germantown with this one. I'm going to go with the 4 seed. So
That's
she
solid.
needs to take out the 1 seed in the semifinals, but I'm going to go with the Germantown pick here and take the sophomore to win it at 152. Moving on to 165. Steve, a potential finals match where a state champ meets a state champ. You have Alex Hofrichter of Antigo, who's the 1 seed. She won it, I believe, at 152 last year. The 2 seed, Siriana Reinwald from Horicon, is the 15-1 sophomore. How about these 2 quarterfinals matches, though? The 7 seed opposite Reinwald is Samantha Meyer of Chilton Hilbert. And
Yep.
Hofrichter's either going against 22-4 Killian Kiernan of Muskego or 15-4 Grayson Hine of Fort Atkinson. And also, I got a shout out. So, Sophia Bassino, a state runner up from last year's the 3 seed in this bracket. Rachel Schauer from Fenimore, who plays 4th, is the 4 seed. Could see a potential Schauer Maddie Zub matchup, little Southwest Wisconsin action in the quarterfinals there. Zub was also a state place winner. So 165, a pretty loaded bracket here. And I have to take the first pick. I think obviously I got to go. Oh, there it is. Katie Weir. Brianna did beat Maeve at the Wausau Challenge Series. Katie, you want to tell me the score of that one? That's might be good information to have going in. I'm still sticking with my Mahalik pick, but I'll take it. So at 165, I'm going to go with Hofrichter in this one. Reinwald, very good. The 3rd freshman that won the state last year. But Hofrichter, Steve, just seemed to be on another level last year. And I don't know. I think it could be a good finals matchup, but I'm sticking with the senior from Antigo.
Teague, it was a pin in 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Hey, you mentioned Samantha Meyer from Chilton Hilbert. It was kind of neat. Chilton Hilbert had their heavyweight on the guy's side, and Chilton Hilbert had probably 6 or 7 girls there. I don't remember the exact number, but they have a heck of a squad. They had a lot of girls out, so good for them for building a solid program. But with that, my pick, I'm going to go opposite of you, Teague, and I kind of knew I was going to do that when you picked first. Both very good wrestlers. Excited to see this one, but I'm going with Reinwald.
Hey, I like it. Clash of champions there. Okay, so Kaylee McFadden did get 3rd at 145 last year at state. I might have been thinking of one of her teammates from Marinette.
Darn it, that affected my pick. I thought she took. I was going to take Kaylee, and then you said she didn't place, so that affected my pick. Teague, darn it.
Hey, sorry about that one, man.
playing a little gambling there. Your poker face.
At 100 and I just led you off the path there. At 185 pounds, the 1 seed state place winner Ariel Hammerly sits in that top spot. Steve, her toughest match could potentially come in the quarterfinals as Abby Swanson from Rhinelander is the 9 seed. She was a state place winner. But Ella Creighton from Badger, the 21-4 junior, is the 8 seed here. The 2 seed is Kendra Hammond from Bloomer Colfax, who sits with a 3-2 record right now. I like the 7 seed in this one. Kaylin Geiger from Muskego, who's a 29-9 junior. So you have the first pick with this one.
I have first pick. Yep, I'm gonna go with Ariel Hammerly, Winneconne. Teague.
You are
this one. You
right.
can't. You got to pick opposite on this one.
I gotta pick opposite. Oh, I was. There's too many good choices in this one. I think I'm gonna go with dark horse here seeding wise, and I'm gonna take Creighton from Badger in this one.
No way! Awesome.
Yeah, let's do. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm taking the 8 seed, which means Steve, we're meeting up in the quarterfinals.
I love it, Teague. I love it when we go opposite, and then we can argue right when we're talking live on air.
Last but not least, for the girls, at 235, we have Faith Pritzloff, who's a state place winner from last year, 29-7 junior, gets the 1 seed. Steve, Pritzloff is going to be a good match if she makes the finals for whoever she goes against, but I think I'm most excited for the semis here. If it comes to fruition, we could have 2 undefeated ladies squaring off against each other. You have Kate Regie from Arrowhead, the 19-0 senior in the 3 spot. Madison Burns from Ashland, the 13-0 sophomore, is the 2 seed. And again, you talk about the distance from each other. This is a matchup you only get at the state tournament. And I got to pick first on this one. So
you do.
Pritzloff was kind of on my map. I think people might look at the record if they're making picks and stray away from her, but she's had some tough losses, and that's kind of what gets you ready for the state tournament. And Burns, I think she spent about like 5 minutes total on the mat this year. You look at her track resume, and it's just pin after pin after pin. But, Steve, I'm going to take Kate Riege, who I got to see at the Husky Invite. If anyone makes the mistake of choosing down against her, the match will be over that very moment. So I'm going to go with Riege as my state champ pick at 235.
T giving out a scouting report on the podcast. I love it. Don't take down on Riege, right? Hey, once again, I'll see you in the semifinals. Madison Burns is my pick. Undefeated against undefeated. Here we go.
All right. So we got our ladies brackets done. Steve, moving on here. I guess I forgot to say which division we're starting off at here. I think we start Division 1 for team state, so we're going to go D3 for individual state. Let me get my D3 brackets pulled up here. I think it's safe to say.
This bracket is the one if I had to pick a bracket at each weight class that I was looking for, at each division. For Division 3, it's clearly 106 pounds. This one's going to be rocking. 3 undefeated wrestlers is amazing.
Yeah, 3 undefeated wrestlers, all the top 3 seeds, as you have Drew Dolphin from Kenosha Christian Life, the 51-0 junior in the top spot. Aiden Grudenfelder, Steve, who from Pecatonica Argyle. I won't even say quietly if, had a good year. I just didn't really notice him until sectionals. I knew he was good last year, and I'm like, oh, he's undefeated, and he has dominant wins. And then our boy from Marathon, friend of the show, Blake Underwood, the 45-0 freshman, sits in the 3 spot there. I guess the conversation does start and end with the undefeated guys in terms of making picks. Unless, if you're feeling a dark horse pick, Steve, you could go for one here. I'm going to flip the coin real quick. I'm heads, your tails. All right, heads. Oh, so I go first.
So you're ahead. You got to pick first. All right.
So yep. I ended up being stuck between Dolphin and Grudenfelder on here, and just seeing how dominant some of their wins were. Maybe Underwood's just the type where he's really good with close matches. No disrespect, Blake, of course, but I'm going to take Dolphin, especially I think maybe a little chip on his shoulder after state last year. I'm going to rock with the 1 seed in this bracket.
Teague, I've learned this year is that every time I thought, man, the young fella is going to get his first loss, he would prove us wrong. And, it's tough to go against Dolphin because nobody's really come close to him this year. But if there's any family that's ready to pull off the upset, is Blake Underwood. So I'm going against you just for fun. Let's see what Blake can do against the junior, 51-0 junior.
All right, yeah,
People,
quick.
James Goucher and Jason Rodriguez are saying they're telling me what they think of me, saying Drew Dolphin all day long.
Yeah, so we got Mike commenting on Facebook, Steve. I forgot to bring this up at the start of the show. I think I just blocked it out real quick, but at 6:30 on WI Wrestle, they announced the Mirasola twins, Cole and Connor, announced they were going to Penn State. And I think in my head, I'm just like, well, all right, guess we got to follow that up. Just 2 guys talking about some wrestling here. So, hey, if anyone wants to see a Steve and me versus Connor and Cole match at state, hit us up in the chat. We'll try to make it happen.
You bet.
Also, congratulations.
As long as they blindfold them and as long as they blindfold them and tie their arms around their backs, then I'll see what we can do.
So congratulations to the Mirasolas, Super Mirasola brothers, as we like to call them. We'll be talking about them near the end of the show here. So, Steve, 113 pounds. The 1 seed, Brett Birchman from Fenimore, gets the 1 seed over last year's state champ, Jake Fitzpatrick, because he beat him, Steve, at sectionals, which was just very impressive. The 3 and 4 seed here, Wyatt Under of Glenwood City, Maddox Wendling of Valders, both state place winners. We'll give a shout out to 5 seed Jackson Preston of Partyville. Partyville, a team that we've been high on all year, so good to see them with the qualifier here at the state tournament. And yeah, Steve, I guess you got the first pick on this one, so good luck, buddy.
Yeah, well, it's tough to pick against the state champ, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm not picking against him. I'm going with Jake. I know a little bit of an upset in I shouldn't say upset, great match in the finals, but I'm just going to stop speaking. Jake Fitzpatrick is my pick, T. That's all I got to add before I put my foot in my mouth anymore.
Taking Fitzpatrick, going for 2. I'm going to take Brett here. I'm going with Brett winning. If they do end up meeting each other in the finals, I'm going to take Brett winning 2 in a row here. Might not be allowed back in the Aquinas gym, but it is what it is. I'm going to rock with Mr. Birchman for my 113-pound championship. 120 pounds. Steve, this seems to be the theme with D3. Who are you going to pick? I mean, Koji Campbell, undefeated state champ, hasn't lost a match in his high school career, is the 1 seed. I mean, he has Kane Johnson from Cameron, who's the 4 seed on his side of the bracket. But the opposite side of the bracket, you have 2 seed Roan Carey of a Mineral Point, 3 seed Amron Nutter of Fenimore. You see Nutter's 41-2. Carey's handed him his only 2 losses of the year, but Nutter has beat Carey as well. You even look at the front side of the bracket. Yeah. You have Dylan Cummings of Alena, who I think placed 6th last year at state. He's the 6th seed. Cash Botting of Manawa is a really impressive freshman. He's at 44-4 on the year. So, yeah, that's what we got for this bracket. I'm
You're
picking
first.
first
Good luck.
in this one. And I'm not going to be a fan favorite with this pick, but I think I'm going to take Amron Nutter avenging a loss to Roan Carey in the semifinals. And then I think he ends Campbell's undefeated run in the finals. Steve, maybe we should have learned from last year picking against Campbell, but I guess if I'm going to make the same mistake twice, I'm just glad I'm rolling with Nutter. I feel good about the pick. Let's hear who you got.
Last year, my knock, if there was, right, we didn't get to see Campbell wrestle live, but if you checked him out on Track Wrestling, most of his wins were all pins in the first period. And I thought, man, is he going to have the gas tank to go? Is he going to have the gas tank to be able to go in the third period? And he proved that wrong. He had some really tough matches and wrestled with the big boys. And, that I'm not going to make that same mistake again. And I'm going to go Jason Rodriguez and James Goucher. Both agree with me, so I appreciate them. They disagree with you, Teague. You should check out the comments they're making to you on our YouTube channel. But I'm going with Koji Campbell from Kenosha St. Joseph's on this one.
Oh, I already knew the heat was coming with that one. I can see it off to the side. It's pretty cool, actually, now that I have that system figured out. Steve, D3, 126 pounds. Could see, I believe it's a rematch from finals from 2 years ago. You have Dawson Johnson of Cumberland, the 51-2 with juniors, the 1 seed. The 3 seed here, Ian Radins from Glenwood City, who placed 3rd last year. He's a 39-3 senior. Steve, get this. I'm pretty sure all of their 5 combined losses are just against each other. I think Johnson has the season lead, 3-2. Johnson, of course, 2 for 2 on searching for state titles right now. And, that's a tough one. Just look at that sectional. Mitch Anderson from Clear Lake is the 4 seed. So they have 3 of the top 4. Can't forget about Mason Carpenter, who was a state runner-up at the 2 spot. And then how about the freshman phenom, Hunter Stevens from Iowa Grant Highland? If he can take out Chase Powell, Steve, then we could see a Radin Stevens match in the quarterfinals matchup.
Oh. Deke, am I first?
You are first.
Oh, this is hard. I'm going to punt. You can go first.
No, you got it.
All right. Well, Hunter Stevens, Chase Powell, right? But I'm going to go, and Mason Carpenter. Oh, man. I'm going with Radins. Ian Radins. I've been a fan of him ever since I started watching him as a freshman, and I'm sticking with him now. So Ian Radins from Glenwood City is my pick.
Yeah, that's I like the Radins pick there. Stevens would be a really fun quote-unquote dark horse pick here, Steve. But I'm going to take the man who's taken out Radins 3 times this year. I'm going to take Dawson Johnson winning his third state title as my pick at 126. Real quick before we get to 132, Mr. Brad Andrews commented, Sydney Andrews, she's part of that 126-pound bracket, Steve. She was a state place winner, and I forgot to mention her. It just goes to show how loaded that bracket is, because I think I listed off like 9 or 10 girls from that one. So shout out Sydney, head throw queen, I would say. 132 pounds here in Division 3. Yeah, Braden Sonnentag looking to win his 4th title. The first of 4 guys we'll be bringing up this year. Shout out to Mr. Elias Glinski of Crandon, the 44-9 junior at the 2 seed. We had his coaches, Paul and Isaiah, on to start the year for our sectional preview. The Cardinals got quite a few through to state. Ian Krapp from Fenimore is the 3 seed. He's been on a pretty good tear to end the year. And Cade Rule from Mineral Point's the 4. Steve, Colin McKittrick, who placed 6th last year, is the 5 seed. From that Southwest sectional, I mean, the most noticeable thing might be the fact that Elliot Biba is from Iowa Grant Highland didn't make state. State runner-up, and he didn't make it out of that bracket. But that was section.
I'm up first, Teague.
Yeah.
yeah, no worries. I'm up first. There's a guy going for his 4th, and he's been on a tear his whole career. He's one of the small guys in the state that I'm afraid of, and that's Braden Sonnentag. He just wrestles with a vengeance. I like watching him, so I'm going with Braden.
All right, moving on here to 100 and bracket. There we go.
Wait, did you make your pick, Team?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Braden Sonnentag, Cadott, 4-time state champ. All right,
okay.
100,
All right.
130. I'm guessing we'll be talking with him a little more after the season, so I'm not cutting him short on that one. 138 pounds. The 1 seed, Lucas Sullivan, a 2-time state runner-up from Mineral Point. The 2 seed, Steve, Mr. Colton Weiler from Auburndale, the 50-4 sophomore. Steve, that's a matchup. I want to say that could be a good finals matchup. But Dominic Lyons from Clear Lake, a 48-1 senior, sitting in that 3 spot. A potential Weiler-Lyons matchup. That's one I'm pumped for. Auburndale and Clear. Was Auburndale in that sectional? Oh man, I feel bad at that.
No, I think Auburndale is. Auburndale's like with Coleman, aren't they?
Were they sectional B? Okay. All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
A little wrestling information like overload for me this weekend. But regardless, Steve, I'm pumped for that semi-final matchup. Ashton Meester at the 7 spot from a Poinet. He's a 40-5 sophomore. Could be a fun wrestler to watch. So, Steve, 138 pounds. This is my first pick here. Oh, yeah, Nathan Weiler. Colton beat Line 7-4. So, sounds like a pretty good match there. And I got first run here. Steve, I'm going to go with Lucas Sullivan of Mineral Point. Lyons and Weiler, both good wrestlers in their own right. But Sullivan, man, he's been on an absolute tear this year. Took out Koenig in the bi-state finals. Had great performances at the Cheesehead. I'm taking him to win his first state title this year. Also, great kid, great family, too.
100%. Yep. So I might be kicked out of the Mineral Point section. I know they've embraced us like family numerous times this year. I sat right next to the Sullivan family. So they might be angry to hear this, but I'm going to go. I know he's the underdog, but I'm going with Colton Weiler. I've been picking him a lot all year, and I'm sticking with my horse now.
All right. 100 and hey, I love it, man. You got to ride with your boys, right? 145 pounds, another Mineral Point.
Auburndale was in Sectional A.
They were, yeah. See, that's what I know.
Yeah.
I thought they bounced around a little bit, but yeah. So it was a 7-4 matchup. Weiler said. Also, I like that Weiler pick you posted too. That was pretty cool with the family stuff. At 145 pounds.
Sure. Well, hey, that was all from Dad.
The number 1 seed. We got another pointer at the top. Taryn Riley from Mineral Point, another 2-time state runner-up, is the 1. Steve, the 4 seed Isaiah Carton, one of, I believe it's 8 qualifiers for Shiocton. Also, shout out Shiocton. We'll be talking about them more in the team state preview next week. Mason Hoopman from Cedar Grove, Belgium, another team state qualifier. He's the 3 seed. Tyler Sunday from Clear Lake. Steve, I felt like I was a broken record yesterday talking about Clear Lake guys in the top 4. A matchup I'm excited for is the 5-12 seed. Garrett Vatlin from Westby's the 5. Him and Siler Zandowitz from Fenimore were in a tie matchup. And I think he ended up pinning Zandowitz. So that's a rematch, Steve. That's a winner-go-home match in the first round.
Wow.
And
are you pausing because it's my choice already? Yeah, it's back to me.
Yeah, you pick first.
Yeah, it's me. Hey, maybe I'll get back in the good graces with Mineral Point fans with this pick, but I'm going with the endless gas tank of Taryn Riley.
I'm also gonna roll with Riley on this one, just again because kind of like Sullivan, he's been on a tear this year, and there could be a chance Sunday or Hoopman or whoever meets him in the finals from that bottom side of the bracket gives him a good match. But again, Riley, just kind of like Kate Reege from Arrowhead, Steve. Maybe don't choose bottom against them if I have to give a scout report.
Yeah. Don't take down.
Steve, Division III, 152 pounds. Tate Flaggy of Aquinas and Ashton Meeks of Riverdale are the top 2 seeds from the same sectional. But yeah, Mr. Stone Pomeroy, who placed, I want to say it was 4th last year. He sits in the 3 spot with the 47-2 record. And now we talked about a couple of Cadott guys already, but Tristan Dreyer of Cadott is the 4 seed in this bracket. Wow. Steve, the 7th seed or the 6th seed, William Becker from Partyville, could be a fun one to keep an eye on. He's a 49-5 sophomore. Then also, folks should stay tuned into Jackson Bussey from Iowa Grant Highland. He's a 35-10 freshman. He would be the 7th seed in this bracket. Oh, I got the first pick.
You do, yeah.
So Pomeroy would be a fun dark horse pick here. I think Pomeroy and Meese, if they do meet up in the final, or if they do meet up in the semis, that'll be a really good matchup. But I know Flaggy beat Meese. He had a pretty decisive win at Bi-State, then beat him, I think it was 5-0 at sectionals. I think I would take whoever comes out from that bottom side of the bracket. I'm still taking the Blue Gold as my state champ at 152.
Blue Gold, that is Aquinas, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Well, mine's going to be a dangerous pick because William Bieber from Coleman, I believe, is the 5th seed Teague, if I'm reading the brackets right. And that's assuming he wins. That's going to be a tough first-round match. But I'm going to meet you in the semifinals on this one, Teague. I'm going to take Tristan Dreyer of Cadott.
I like it, man. That's hey, that's your second Cadott pick too. So okay, going to 160 pounds. The 1 seed here, got another Fenimore wrestler in it, Tristan Stelt, the 37-4 sophomore. He placed 3rd last year. Steve, I really like the potential 8-9 matchup here between James Amaker of Poynette, the 41-6 senior, and Emerson Moan of Iowa Grant Highland, who tougher than his 28-10 record indicates. I mean, this is just a deep bracket, man. Cole Shepard from Crandon's the 5 seed. Treston Eckstein, a really impressive freshman from Marcus Anna's the 6. Steve, he's going against Hector Pinter from Marathon, who's 41-11. That means Pinter got the 11th seed in this bracket.
Jeez.
Opposite Stelt is Calvin Hargrove at the 2 spot, who I think it was a 9-8 match in sectionals. So, I mean, it's just through and through. So I didn't even bring up the 3 and 4 seed here with Pfeiffer and Micah. But Steve, where do you start the conversation with this one?
This is Teague. What is that? Where's Trevor Ferrari? I know I see him there, but what's that seed? Is that
That would be a 10 seed.
A 10 seed, Trevor Ferrari, state experience. I mean, this bracket is loaded. With that being said, I'm going with my first Golden Eagle pick, Tristan Stelt of Fenimore.
Well, Steve, you're going with your first Golden Eagle pick. I'm going with my third Golden Eagle pick here.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
I'm taking Stelt here. I know we're going with the same on this one, but the sophomore has just really impressed me this year. I got to see him at Riverdale, and also just what he did at Team Sectional. So even though we miscorrectly announced him, incorrectly announced when he was wrestling on the broadcast, I think that just summed up how the night went in general. But I'm going to take Stelt here, who wins a tough rematch in the finals over Hargrove from Aquinas. D3 at 170 pounds. You got David Moline, who's the 1 seed from Aquinas. He's a 39-3 at junior. Steve, the 2 seed here, a 3-time state place winner, all in the middleweights. You have Ryan Roy from Wabeno Leona, 3 legs, the 43-5 at senior. Torrin Vandenbush from Random Lake, a somewhat familiar name from the Random Lake area, is the 3 seed. And then Carter Lewick from Stratford, he sits at that 4 spot. Brad Demarath from Shiocton, who's 40-4, is the 9 seed in this bracket. He's going against.
It's amazing to me.
He's going against Gavin Brager from IG, who was a state qualifier last year. Peter Kukta's the 6. Matthew Roach from Ladysmith is the. Kukta's the 5. Roach is the 6 seed here. Again, just another loaded bracket. I got to pick first on this one. And my first pick here, I think Roy gets a win over Vandenbush in the semis. I think Ryan Roy breaks through, makes it to the finals in a really tough match. And I think he will be, I wouldn't even know the adjective I used there. I think he's going to be toppled by David Moline from Aquinas. I got another blue gold winning a title here at 170.
Well, I'm calling your topple, and I'm picking Ryan Roy. So let's meet you in the finals again.
Let's go. Also, we'll be posting these picks later, too. Not like later tonight, but probably tomorrow or something. Steve, D3 182.
Teague, someone was asking before. Oh, hold up, Teague. Someone was asking before on Facebook. They missed the girls. When will this be reposted tonight for them to, or is it going to be tomorrow?
I will repost I will get this out in podcast form tonight.
Tonight. Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be late tonight. So tomorrow morning, iTunes, Spotify, whatever directory you have that you listen to podcasts, you can download and listen to us there. It's a great road trip podcast, I would say. Not because we're good, just because it's a long podcast. So
yeah, absolutely. It helps people fall asleep while they're driving.
Steve, 182 pounds. Hey, just going to go right to the 8 seed here. One of the first ever nicknames you gave. Neon Dion Helzer from Shiocton is the 8 seed. He's going against TJ Mueller from Crivet. Steve, a really impressive 1-2 matchup here in terms of records. You have Tyson Bogats, who's the 2 seed. He's a 42-1 senior. Jackson Orman from Stratford, who's a 43-1 senior. His only loss was to an out-of-state wrestler at Bi-State. Steve, I think the one wrestler on the front side here who could impress and end up placing is the 7 seed Jackson Schrammick from Blair Taylor, the 45-4 junior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it me right away?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And let's not forget that 5 seed Annan. I don't know if you said that or not. I was still trying to figure out who I'm going to pick. But I learned something this year, Teague. It's don't pick against the Stratford guys or they'll make you eat your words every single time. So I'm going with Jackson Orman from Stratford.
All right, I like it. I think another fun pick here could be Jaden Walker, the senior from Marquezan. But Steve, I'm gonna not heed your advice. I'm gonna take Bogat from Bonduel in this one.
Nice.
Well,
Bears against the Tigers.
195 pounds, top 2 seeds here. Mitch Thompson from Kewanee, the 37-1 senior, state runner-up. Tyson Martin from Aquinas, the 38-4 freshman, is the 2 seed. Man, talk about a fun finals matchup, just loaded with the whole freshman versus senior narrative there. You got Ryan McCartney from Lancaster's the 3. Steve, I love seeing Levi Lindsay from Cadott as the 4 seed because I think he was around like a 500 wrestler from last year. So to see that jump, even record-wise, is just absolutely awesome. And you got to bring up probably an all-name candidate from Boyceville. Bash Nielsen is the 5 seed.
Love it. Bash. That's a heck of a wrestling name. Hope he's a middle linebacker and a fullback. Bash.
So I got the first picks here. This was one I did have to do a little research on because I was leaning towards taking Martin as a fun pick here because the freshman is really impressive. He does, though, have a close match with someone who Thompson took pretty handily. And Martin, of course, got better throughout the course of the year. But, Steve, I'm going to take the senior who was a runner-up last year who's wrestled under the lights on Saturday evening before. I'm taking Mitch Thompson as my state champion.
I wanted to take Tyson Martin. I so much did just for the freshman-senior story. And I just like picking opposite of you for fun. But Mitchell Thompson is just a bull in a China shop, and I'm taking him, the Kewanee wrestler.
After seeing Jason's comment on YouTube, I think I got to go to Culver's after this one now.
Oh, yeah. Hey, do you get some cheese curds there, Jason?
After 220 pounds, you got the 1 seed Marshall Self from Ithaca Weston, 45-7 senior and a state place winner at last year. Steve, this is one of my favorite potential D3 semis here as we have Vanden Hoffman from Wyawega Fremont, who's a 45-2 junior. Sloan Welch, the 3 seed, who we got to see win a bi-state title. He's a 51-2 senior sitting at the 3 spot. And then even the 4 seed, a returning state place winner, and Ezra Ducott from Kewanee. I think another wrestler I like on the front side of the bracket here, Brady Lehner, the 15-4 junior from Aquinas. So, Steve, what do you got in this one?
You know, Teague, as soon as I saw this guy wrestle live, I can't pick against him. He is one massive human being. He's large, he's solid, he moves quick. I know he's a 3rd seed, but I'm taking him. Sloan Welch of Auburndale.
All right, we're both going against the 1 seed here, but maybe I'm making a mistake going against Welch, but I'm going to go with Hoffman from Wyawega Fremont in this one. I want to meet you in the semis.
All right.
But man, Welch has had one heck of a year, so that's a tough one to pick against, but anything can happen at the state tournament, so let's roll with it. 285 pounds, Steve. I mean, right away you see a 40-12 wrestler at the 8 seed in Austin Culpet from Cashton. The 1 seed is David Gauderman from Wittenberg Burnhamwood. Placed 3rd last year at 220, which we all know how tough that bracket was. Steve, this semifinals match, man, again, another one. You have Diego Morales from Cedar Grove, Belgium, who could potentially be squaring off against Evan Gratz from Fenimore in the semis. You got I believe they call Morales the Beast from the Big East. And then Gratz, who just with his Greco style at heavyweight, he's so fun to watch. And, you know, Morales has to get through potentially Jack Schaefer from Cumberland, who we've seen have some pretty good matches on track this year.
Tegan, I don't know if you said him too, but Nathan's is it Zarins?
Oh,
my
yeah.
eyes aren't working all that well.
Yeah.
27-2. That's pretty tough as well. And am I first at 285? No, you're first. Go ahead. You're up.
I'm first. So, yeah, you look at the bottom side of the bracket and you see all those names, and it's tempting to pick someone there. But you think about how Gauderman finished just behind Gavin Teagles and Cole Ebert from last year. And I just think it's his bracket to lose this year, Steve. I'm going to go with Gauderman.
I'm picking this gentleman because he walked in front of me at team sectionals, and he is one massive human being. And if he wrestles well and gets all that size behind him going, he's going to be unstoppable. And I do like Ty Monfries as well, but I'm going with Evan Gratz of Fenimore.
All right, we are at an hour 5 minutes, 2 brackets in. We're making perfect time, Steve, for the 2-hour cutoff. D2, 106 pounds. We got Logan Mueller from Brilliant. Last year's state runner-up is the 1 seed. Steve, if he wants to win that state title of this year, I'm guessing he might have to go through the undefeated freshman in the 2 seed, Mr. Haken Peterson from Dodgeville. Want to give a shout out to Jake Jandren from Luxembourg Casco, the 7th seed, 3rd at regionals last year, Steve, just stuck behind 2 really good guys, has now amassed a 44-8 record and is wrestling at the Kohl Center. You love to see it. Antonio Sowell from Amory, a guy that's really improved throughout the course of the year. He's taking on Colton Koss, Steve, who I just saw on Facebook. Corey Scanlon posted about it. They didn't know if Colton Koss was going to be able to wrestle again. And now here he is wrestling at the Kohl Center, which you always love those stories. So little quick
Great
synopsis
story.
at 106. I also like the Haiti Ganter matchup at the 8-9 spot. Oh,
Nice. I'm
coin
first
flip,
on this
sorry.
one. Yeah. Oh, gotcha. I didn't know if I just transferred over.
Here,
I'm tails.
we'll show the people the coin flip.
You bet. There's the sad donkey.
No,
Sad
that's
donkey.
me.
Nope,
That's
you,
that's
Teague.
happy. Yeah. I got first pick. Steve, I might be starting to run here, but Logan Mueller, who's at 42-1, has the state experience. That would be a nice pick. Also, I'm excited to see Brady Gessler at the 4 spot wrestle at 2. But I think Haken Peterson from Dodgeville, I've seen him wrestle a couple times, and he's just absolutely impressed me. I'm going to go with the freshman from Dodgeville to win state.
I have nothing to add. We can move right to 113. Ditto.
All right. Okay, D2 1-13. Another Dodgeville wrestler who's in a top 2 spot. This time, Charlie Might, last year's state champ. He is the 1 seed, sorry. Wyatt Magolski is he wasn't the runner-up from last year, but the 2 and 3 seed, Steve, also place winners at 106 last year. You have Wyatt Magolski from New London, who's the 2. Ethan Aird from Darlington Blackhawk is the 3. Tommy Brown, 47-2, sitting in the 4 spot right now. I'm excited to see freshman James Racer, who's currently at the 7th seed. And also Deaglin O'Connell from Regis Altoona. I think you could maybe give Brown a good match. I don't know what the score of that match was at that Division II Sectional A. But, that would be a match that I'd like to see in the quarterfinals. Yeah, you got first.
Right
pick.
on. You got first. No, I got first. Oh, man. I like Magolski. Teague, you don't know how bad I want to pick Tommy Brown. I probably would have picked him if he was on the opposite side, but it's tough to go against the state champ, so I'm going with Charlie Might.
Steve, just like we said last. Yeah, no, never mind. The he might win, might not. Yeah, we too many people have said it now. I don't think we can say it anymore. So I'm going with Charlie Might. He will win. We'll just I'll make the bold proclamation now.
Ooh, Teague. Bulletin board material, man.
Well, all right, 120 pounds. Returning state champion Reed Spurley from Dodgeville, Steve, is the 1 seed. You got Lane Anderson from Amory, who's at the 4 spot. And, Steve, Lane Anderson going against, it's going to have to be the winner of a sectional rematch here. Dylan Weigel of Belmont Platteville is the 5 seed. Chase Rodriguez from Bigfoot Williams Bay is the 12 seed here. That's going to be a fun first-round matchup. Steve, this is a loaded bracket from top to bottom now that I'm looking at this first round. Immel versus Jarabic, Tomajevic versus Sigmund, Keller versus Gazda. There's no place to hide in this bracket. I guess
Nope.
If I got to choose a couple of stories here, the 2 seed here, Bob Huntley from Brilliant. He's a place winner from last year. We could potentially see a state finals rematch, Steve, between Colton Hush and Reed Spurley because Hush is the 3 seed. But, Steve, Thaddeus Sigmund beat Hush at team sectionals that Tuesday. So
Right.
This bracket is going to be absolute madness, man. And I got to make the first pick for it. I know I've been going chalk here, but, Steve, I'm going to go triple Dodgeville. I'm going to take Reed Spurley here as my state champion. And it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, I'm going Triple D as well. I don't have anything to add. It's really it's hard to pick against these guys, man. They're all there. I wonder if this would be the first time, if it happens, that you have the first 3 weight classes all won by the same school.
Yeah, any history buffs currently watching? I want to thank everyone for tuning in right now. I know it's a marathon show, but it's I told Steve this is like one of my favorite shows to do. Steve, up at 100.
It's good time. I just like making picks. It's fun.
Up at 126 pounds. I guess the first two guys here, the top two seeds. It's and I had to go really quick when I talked about it on TV yesterday, but it's two guys whose state dreams. I think they were looking to be on top of the podium and they were cut short last year. You have Luke Dukes, who lost that heartbreaker to Heiser in the finals last year. He's the 1 seed. Austin Blanchard from Campbellsport, the Haitian sensation, undefeated going into state and then losing to the Cellier at the state tournament. He's 47-1 on the year, Steve. I think these two could be on a crash course to meet in the finals to see who can pick up that state title. And they're both seniors, too. Also, a shout-out to Teague Holzer from St. Croix Central in the 5 spot.
Number 5 seed. Yep. Yeah. Teague, I lose track. Is this me? I apologize for the pause.
Yeah.
It is me. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Austin Blanchard, Teague. Kind of a guy that we've been following all year, and I'm picking him. I got nothing else to add. I think they're going to meet in the finals. But Teague Holzer, watch out for him as that 5th seed. I will throw that in.
Yeah, Blanchard, friend of the show, will probably be the first person to like the post when we put it out tonight on social media. Steve, it hurts, but I have him losing to Dukes in the finals. Luke Dukes going to pick up a state title this year and end his senior year on a high note. 132 pounds.
Yeah, Austin, when you come find us at state, remember that, okay? Remember who picked you.
We got the 1 seed. Speaking of Dukes, I wrestled Danny Heiser in the finals. Heiser, who's 52-2 on the year, comes in as the 1. Easton Warachek from Luxembourg Casco is the 2 seed here. Warachek, state champ, was it 2 years ago now, Steve?
Yep. 3-time state place winner.
He had a pretty good match. He beat Coble Zeal of O'Connell Falls at sectionals, who's the 3 seed. Then Kellen Kelly of St. Croix Falls is the 4. Steve, got to give a shout out. Man who caught our attention last year, Brecken Brzezinski of Stanley Boyd, 2-time state qualifier now. Yep. Stanley Boyd's abbreviation also, STAB. Doesn't get more intimidating than that.
Love it.
Also, how about Mason
Watch out for
Gill
those stabbers.
Mason Gill from Shoreland's in the 11th spot. That could be a fun guy to keep an eye on the front side of the bracket. And I got the first pick here. Steve, Warachek and Heiser, they wrestled in the semis last year, and I know it was a tough one. I know I've been going chalk with this one, but Danny Heiser has just been on a roll, and after seeing what he did at Bi-State, it's hard to go against him. I'm taking Heiser.
Yeah, it is a tough one, and I am going to go opposite of you, Teague. Even though I like Kellen Kelly. Cole Bozio is just a tough sophomore, right? But this guy, since last year, he's been wrestling different. I noted that at Bi-State when I watched him. I'm like, man, Easton Warachek has just taken his game to a different level, kind of a little bit on that revenge tour. So with that chip on his shoulder, I'm taking Easton Warachek.
Hey, what's our rule from last year? You always got to pick at least one Luxembourg guy because you know they're winning somewhere.
That's right.
All right, Steve, where do I even start with this one? At 138 pounds.
Good luck.
So I guess we'll start with the 3-time state champ, Rhett Koenig, who is the 2 seed. He's the 2 seed, Steve, because he lost to Brody Hart from Winneconne. State champ from 2 years ago. Avenged his loss against Koenig. Koenig beat him last year at the state tournament, and now Hart beat him at sectionals yesterday. And Steve, if Koenig wants to get revenge against Hart, probably, I'm guessing, has to go through Owen Sefrud of Darlington Blackhawk, who Koenig and Sefrud, is it 6 times they've wrestled now? But they're the 2 and the 3 seed.
Conference regionals, yeah.
Yeah, that's I think that's the big story here in this bracket. Yeah. You pick first in this one. Also, we'll give a shout out to Steven Kiel-Pikowski, who just straight up told us our picks were stupid one time. Didn't use the word stupid. It was another S word. But it was pretty funny because it came after like he won the bracket. And I was like, come on, dude. Like, do that before the tournament. It would have been a lot cooler. But, yeah, freshman, 10
Oh,
seed from Denmark. He gets a little shout out on the show. All right.
Teague, are you sure? I thought you picked first on this one. Is this one me?
I picked Heiser first. Yeah. Don't do this to me.
Oh, you did. Okay, all right. Oh man. Well, you know what? Big lights, right? Big lights. That's where the champions go to shine. It's very hard to pick against a guy going for his fourth, and I'm gonna pick him. And I know this is gonna be one heck of a bracket. Caden Clark is the 5 seed. Ryan Tomzovic is a tough wrestler. Just got to see him wrestle this weekend. But I'm gonna go with Rhett.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking your same logic here in that Rhett just seems to perform really well in these big events, man. Like we said, I think his best trait is he just knows how to win. Like he has good fundamentals, but he knows how to win. Steve Hart with a pretty good victory over him in that one spot. I like his path to the finals. He does have Tomajevic from Seymour at the 4 spot. Steve, I'm going to take Owen Sefru to get his first win over Rhett Koenig in the semis, and then take out another state champion in Brody Hart in the finals. Going with the
awesome.
Sophomore from
That's
Darlington
awesome.
Blackhawk.
Awesome, man. All right, 145.
I am pumped for that bracket. All right, D2 145. The 1 seed. Steve, you got to see this match in person, man. The top 2 seeds. Nathan Vandehei from Freedom, the 51-3 senior. Max Ronsman from Luxembourg Casco, the 10-1 junior. Well, how about this? Ian DeSellier from Kiel's the 3 seed, and he was in that same sectional. They're joined by Aiden Hart, who gave Ronsman a couple of good matches. Hart from Winneconne as well, of course. Hart, gave Ronsman some good matches. He sits at the 4 spot right now. I mean, even Griffin Marco, who is the 6 seed, he's had a great year. Bryce Crowley from Rowe is in the 5 spot. I think Jack Dubach might have been a state qualifier last year, and he's the 8 seed or the 9 seed.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is just a deep bracket here. Also, shout out Hudson Sebastian Opelt from NGL. But yeah, I got the first pick on this one. I would have liked to have heard your analysis on the match, but I just kept talking, so this is on me. But Steve, based on the score of the match, and I think Ronsman might just be coming back a little too late, Nathan Vandehei has had himself a year, man, and I'm going to take the Freedom Senior to win a state title this year after making the finals last year.
I stayed quiet for a reason, Teague. I was hoping you wouldn't take him. I've just been impressed. I mean, I'm saying this tongue in cheek. Obviously, I was big rivals with Freedom growing up, and so I said this pains me to make this pick. Yada yada yada. I'm just joking. Don't throw any hate my way. But Nathan Vandehei has impressed me from last year. Right, he was a really good wrestler last year. He's one of those guys that's just grown as a senior. So I do like to pick opposite of you just for fun, but I can't on this one because his win against Ronsman was pretty decisive.
All right. So we got also the note I forgot to mention here between Vandehei, DeSellier, and Ronsman. They have, I think it's 3 state finals appearances and a title between the 3 of them. I mean, 3 state finalists in a bracket is impressive in itself. Not the only bracket where we have that, though. D2, 152 pounds. Zane Licht from Lodi is the 1 seed here, Steve. 52-0 senior, won a state title last year. The 2 seed, Nick Alexander from Wrightstown, is a 43-3 senior. Alexander's been on an absolute tear, man. We are running a little long, so I think the story here is if Alexander can potentially get through Luke Kramer from Prairie du Chien in the semis, or whoever is on that side of the bracket, you think Alexander could maybe take out Zane Licht. Also, wait, I got the second pick here, so I guess that's a good segue.
Right. Call me a homer. I'm going with it. Nick Alexander from Wrightstown.
All right. So you're taking
Teague,
Alexander.
I made it.
What? Did you
Yeah,
say
I'm taking
Alexander
Alexander
over Licht?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh.
I said, call me the homer pick, but I'm making it.
All right, man. I'm taking Zane Licht in this one.
I knew you would.
That's I guess you look at Alexander's losses and they're pretty good. All right, I'm going with first person I'm texting after this is Cody. That's good. Oh yeah, let's go.
Come on. Do you think he would even? I mean, he's not going to be surprised. What do you think he's going to say?
I don't know. No, I love it, man. D2, 160 pounds. We got our third wrestler going for his fourth state title that we talked about on the show. Braden Scholes from Kewaskum is the 1 seed. You got Owen Wasley from St. Croix Central, who's 38-1, Steve. If he wants to get to the finals, just like his brother did last year, he either has Justin Klinkner from Two Rivers, who he'd be meeting in the semis, but otherwise, you got Tucker Brockman from Freedom, who's the 6th seed. Connor Faust from Keels, the 7 on that bottom side of the bracket. Also, LaShawn Taylor from Martin Luther is the 4 seed. We do have Mr. Jacob Farnes on the show. Shout out to Farnes and the things they're doing down there in Martin Luther. Steve, I'll also say Connor Melton from Spooner Webster, who's the 8th seed. He's, I think, the 4th Melton wrestling now through that program. But Steve,
nice.
just making the picks quick. I got first here. I'm taking Braden Scholes.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Two Rivers wrestler, Justin Klinkner. First time I got to watch him live. Very impressive wrestler, but out of all the guys going for their 4th one, I think Braden Scholes has the easiest path. I shouldn't say easiest path. Less contested path, right? I mean, more of the shoe-in, so I'm going with Braden Scholes as well.
All right, 170 pounds. Steve, I'm excited to see this guy wrestle. I don't know if you've got a chance to see him, but Owen Burling from Lake Mills, the 37-9 freshman, is the 4. See, I'm just switching it up a little bit with talking about the order. But Steve, He could be tested in the first round right away because Brogan Brewer from PDC at 43-9 is a tough 5 seed. And then whoever wins that one, probably Steve would have the 1 seed, Silas Daly from Plymouth. Daly, a 2-time 3rd place finisher. Looking to not only make the finals, but I'm guessing his goal is to be on top of the podium this year. The bottom side of the bracket, I got to see Ben Peterson from Melman at GET wrestle a few times this year and just has had a great jump from his junior to senior year. He's in that 3 spot. Louis Yankee from Ellsworth. Ellsworth starting to make their comeback as a team. Not like they ever really left. Steve, how about Mr. Tanner Coffin from Northwestern? 46-2 senior wrestling on Thursday night. He is the 6th seed. And you got first pick with this one.
Yeah. You know, if I had to make an opposite pick of you, if you got to go first, and obviously I know he would pick, I was going to go with the I think would try to be an upset as Ben Peterson. I think GET has been doing a great job this year, but Silas Daly, you know, he's just impressive. He just quietly goes about his business and very methodically wins matches and never gets rattled. So Silas Daly is my pick.
All right, next up here. Also, you see a Cale Denar in that bracket as well. Pretty familiar name from Cuba City, I would say. D2 182.
Teague, are you just going with Silas Daly? You didn't even.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Silas Daly also my pick. Yeah. I
just thought you went with the walk-off, like unannounced pick. You just go on the next one, and everybody just assumes you know where you're taking.
It was as quick as your Alexander pick, man. Yeah. 182 pounds. We got he is back after being gone for half the season. Owen Heiser from Evansville, the 20-1 senior state champ last year. Bottom side of the bracket, a couple of fellas from the same sectional on the 2 and 3. Max Mathias, the freshman from Two Rivers. Trey Shanebeck, a state place winner from last year, Steve. Steve, I know Heiser's on another level, but I love to see Wyatt Ingham from Amory in that 4 spot. Could he maybe do something? We know how many pins he has on the. I mean, he's just been a pinning machine. Can he do something to put Heiser in danger? I hope we find out. I hope that's a matchup that we can see. But yeah, could potentially fun semis here. Braden Albee from Regis, 50-4 is a 9 seed in this bracket. So another tough bracket. I got to make the first pick here, and I know I just talked about a potentially fun semifinals match, but we both know how good Owen Heiser is, man. We know how good Devin Wasley was last year, and Heiser beat him in the finals. I'm going to take the senior from Evansville on this one.
Yeah, it's hard to see Ingham and Heiser on the same side. I think the two really good wrestlers, but I'm going with Owen Heiser as well.
All right, 195 pounds. Ian Big Cat Smith from a Northwestern, the 43-1 junior, is the 1 seed. Steve, this is a loaded top 4 here. Okay, well, to speak on the top 4, Caden Weber from Regis, who has 1 loss. I'm guessing it's it's either to Smith or Grant Cook from Amory, but he's 43-1 and he's the 5 seed. So that says enough there. Grant Cook, who I just brought up from Amory, he was a state place winner at 182. He's the 3. Chase Mathias from Two Rivers is the 2 seed. And Blake Theory from Prairie du Chien, who going to be searching for his 50th win on the year at the state tournament. He's the 4 seed. So, lot to make from this bracket, Steve. You got the first pick.
Yeah, Wyatt Egan, Dylan Soik. I mean, just some great wrestlers. I mean, Ben Kienbaum, Trent Fucht. I hope I'm saying his last name right. I kept messing that up this weekend, but from Freedom. But Chase Mathias, man. I mean, Freedom and Kiel wrestled each other this weekend. Think about this. Freedom and Kiel were at the same sectional. And then the winner of that one has to take on the guy from the same sectional. So all 3 in the same spot. But Chase Mathias is my pick for this one.
All right. So you got Mathias in this one. So Cook was the one who won against Weber in that matchup, Steve. So, Steve, I mean, even the quarterfinals are going to be fun in this bracket. But I think of Ian Smith and what it takes to take him out at the state tournament. And no one's beat him at the state tournament that's not named Clayton Whiting, who's now wrestling at Missouri. So I love Mathias's game, man. You know how much I respect all these wrestlers, but I'm going with the Big Cat to get his first state title here his junior year. Steve, 220 pounds. I guess we'll talk about him last year. We got Connor Thomas from Peshtigo is the 2 seed. The 46-2 junior. Joseph Volz from Campbellsport, the 3. Wesley Egan from Parkview, Albany is the 4 seed, who's a 47-2 sophomore. I'm excited to see him wrestle. Him and Damon Schmidt from Brilliant could be a fun quarterfinals matchup. But, Steve, I think the conversation for picks starts and ends. Whoever wins between Egan and Schmidt in the quarters, they will probably be meeting Mr. Coy Hopke, the 50-0 undefeated 2-time state champion.
Yeah, I mean, if on this one we should just pull Coy out and try to figure out who's going to take second, and that would be our pick. That'd be fun. But yeah, Coy Hopke just dominant, right? I know you're going first on this one, Teague, but I'm going to call my shot and take Coy.
All right. Yeah, no, I respect that there. You can still go first at heavyweight. But yeah.
Perfect.
That's I will also take Coy. All right, let's talk about 285. All right, Steve. Hey, love to see him back in action. You got Gunnar Hoffman from Neilsville Greenwood Loyal, the 26-1 senior, is the 1 seed, state runner-up from last year. Steve, I like seeing the 8-9 matchups right by the one because it kind of catches my eye right away. But Ben Roman from Sturgeon Bay, Sevastopol, we've seen good results from him all year. He's sitting in that 8th spot, wrestling Owen Kuma from Waupun to see who makes it to wrestle Friday morning. How about the top 4 seeds here, Steve? You got Porter Mandarano from Belmont Platteville at the 2 seed. You got Hunter Vanderheiden from Freedom, also known as Thing 2. His brother is identified as Thing 1. So, yeah, little nickname I learned there from Jason Kleinschmidt when we were doing the Cheesehead commentary. And, Steve, we got the 4 seed, the man with the penchant for big upsets, Quesero Gigante, the giant cheesemaker himself, Isaac Bunker.
There you go.
That's
awesome. It's my pick. Yeah.
You got the first
Mandarano.
pick here. Yeah. I'll give my analysis after you go.
Yeah, Mandarano. I mean, there's so many good ones in here. But I know he was out for a little while, but I said last year that there's no way this guy's not going to get his title. And that's Gunnar Hoffman. But gosh, there's so many good wrestlers in here. They'd like to see. Hunter Vanderheiden, got to see him this weekend. Really good, solid wrestler. And obviously we saw Bunker. But Teague, I'm just going to go skip the formalities and just take Hoffman.
Skipping the formalities and taking Hoffman. I really like the Hoffman pick. I wanted to go with Bunker because I think of that win that he had against Impey in the finals. But Gunnar Hoffman has been a man on a mission this year. And Porter Mandarano and Vanderheiden on the opposite side, they could give him a good match, but I think it's Hoffman's bracket to lose, and I can't stray away from the big man from Neilsville. That's my second Neilsville pick. I think, are they the Warriors? But, yeah, going with Gunnar Hoffman from NGL for my heavyweight pick. And, folks, we are now on Division 1, so, yeah, one bracket to go. 1.5 hours in, Steve. We're making good time. I'm just going to put in
Here we go.
comments on stuff real quick that we are changing divisions. I didn't think about that until now, but
yep.
All right, Division 106 pounds. Yeah, I know. Liam Neitzel is the 1 seed. The 2 seed is Logan Clausen from Badger. 3 seed is Micah Beckett from De Pere, your state champ pick from last year, Steve. He's a 42-2 with sophomore. How about the records from these top 4 seeds? Ethan Bass from West Bend West is the 41-6 sophomore, and he's sitting at the 4th spot. You got to see Bass wrestle, I believe, at the Battle on the Bay. Another wrestler I like in this bracket, Evan Gill from Burlington, a 43-8 sophomore. He's the 7 seed. And I got to see Trainer Curtin from Reedsburg wrestle a couple times. He's at that 6th spot. So flipping the coin one more time here.
Yeah, sad donkey.
The WI Wrestle folks, are like the folks who haven't seen us before, get to see the coin flip. Now that we're live.
There it is.
I go first again.
You.
Dude, I wanted to go with Clausen on this one. He does, I think the one loss he has is like a pretty good loss, and just some of the wins he has are pretty dominant. But Liam Neitzel's only loss, Steve, was an out-of-state loss at the Cheesehead. And, man, I think after the year he had, I think he wanted to end up. He wanted to be a state champ last year. I know he fell just short of it. I'm going to take Neitzel from Hudson as my state champ pick at 106.
Yeah, I just like to pick opposite of you just for fun and to kind of razz you a little bit, but I can't. Liam Neitzel is my pick.
All right, going on to, James Goucher saying Clausen is his pick. So do have a Clausen fan here on the show. All right, moving on to 113 pounds. The 1 seed state runner-up from last year, Wyatt Skiba, Steve, 37-1 at senior. Steve, how about this? Sitting in the 8th spot from Anina, the freshman at Declan Cook, who gave Skiba a 1-point match at sectionals last week.
Yep.
What a matchup that one is going to be in the quarterfinals. The real quick running through the rest of the bracket. Yeah, Kale Zielinski of Muskego is having another good year. He is the 3 seed. Braden Casey from Menominee, the 38-4 at junior, is the 2 seed. Steve, crazy to think if Skiba wants to win this bracket, he needs to not only beat Cook, but beat a state champion in Casey on the other side of the bracket. I'm excited to see what this freshman Maximus Hay is made of. I know you got to see Alois Schlump from Bayport, who's the 7 seed.
Yep.
But neither of us have seen Hay yet, who comes in at the 3 spot. So this one's going to be a fun bracket for folks to watch. So with that being said, let's hear your pick, buddy.
Oh, shoot. Darn it. I thought you were first. Gosh, Teague. I really want to pick the freshman Maximus Hay, but I'm going to pick Casey. So I'll see how you match that one.
Yeah, that's Cook could be a really fun pick here into that spot. But yeah, I was stuck. I would say essentially I was stuck between Casey and Skiba, and I know I've become close with the Menominee folk here, but I really respect Skiba's game and what he's done the last 2 years. If folks don't remember, Skiba almost didn't even make sectionals the first year that he was a state runner-up. He ended up replacing an injured wrestler, and just a great story by him. And now to see where he is, I do love to see that. I have Skiba taking out the state champ from last year. Wyatt Skiba's my 113-pound pick, Steve.
Nice.
And
I knew you'd go opposite.
Steve, 120 pounds. Talk about a deep bracket here as right away the first observation is Chris Anderson from Sun Prairie comes in as the 5 seed. I know he did lose to Peyton Oberg from Baraboo, who is the 9 seed in this one, if it goes to show how deep this bracket is. Hudson Halter from Waterford, another state place winner, is the 4 seed. Almost went right through him. Ben Bass, the state champion from 2 years ago, 41-3 senior from West Bend West. He's a guy who he likes to keep track of our picks, Steve. It's always fun to get his commentary on them. He placed fourth last year at 113. But Steve, Ben Bass lost to this impressive 3 seed, the 43-0 freshman from Oconomowoc, Kellen Wolbert. Wolbert's beaten Bass twice on the year, so are these two kind of on a collision course to wrestle each other again? I guess we'll find out. I do think a really good first-round matchup here. Even Wathke and Halter's a fun 4-13, but Nolan Skiba and Turner Campbell. Skiba has had a great year as a sophomore. Campbell, same thing with his sophomore campaign. That's going to be a fun first-round matchup. Then you have Aiden Slama at the 2 seed. So D1 120 going to be a fun one. I got the first pick. One last time in his career, Steve, I'm going to give him motivation. I'm going to take Kellen Wolbert over Ben Bast in my finals pick here.
All right, there you go. I'm for sake of time, I'm going to just say the same, Teague. It's his wins have been impressive. Got to watch that one with the Cheesehead, and just his poise was amazing for the young fellow.
All right, at 126 pounds, we got, Steve, a few state finalists in this one. Matt Haldeman from Milton, who made the finals against Rivera last year at 126. He sits in the 1 spot, facing another state finalist in Jacob Herm from Neenah, potentially, we'll say. Herm gets the 4 seed here. The 2 seed, Mr. Lucas Peters from Kaukauna, who's been on a tear this year. Colin McDowell from Arrowhead is the 3 seed. He placed 3rd at state last year. He's a 35-7 sophomore. Steve, this is another deep bracket in general. Jaden Yauk from Oconomowoc's a good sophomore in the 9 spot. Him and Jimmy Wollenberg have wrestled already this year. They're facing off in the first round. Easton Cooper at the 7 seed. I think that speaks to how tough this bracket is. But you got first run here.
I know he's got 4 losses, but they're impressive 4 losses knowing who Kaukauna wrestles. I'm going to go with the 2 seed Teague, Lucas Peters of Kaukauna.
Well, I thought I was going to be fun by going against you. I know Peters has beaten Herm a few times this year. Will they face off again? We don't know yet. But either way, I've just really liked what I've seen out of Peters this year. I'm going to go with, as Brad Crook is saying, as the Kaukauna folks call him, I'll go with Petey on this one.
Petey. Oh. All right.
132 pounds. He got the returning 132 runner-up. Kellen Ari of Menominee is the 1 seed. Steve, this one's crazy because he's had 2 1-point matches with Preston Cradaville of Holman. Cradaville is the 5 seed, so they could be a semis matchup, but Cradaville would have to get through the 4 seed Chance Suddeth, who was 3rd last year at state. See, we got to we'll give a shout out to him at the end here. But you have Tyson Peach of Milton, who is the 2 seed. Steve, the semis with this one could be Peach and Brian Winans, who went against each other about 5 times last year. Brian Winans did win all 5 of those. He placed 3rd at state. Wolbert is the 7th seed in this bracket. Aiden Crowley, who is a state place winner, is the 6th seed. This is 132 seems to be a must-watch bracket every year. I mean, you have Noel and Kruger at the 8-9 spot. But, Steve, last but not least for giving shout-outs in this bracket, Maddox Rye from Wausau East qualifying for the Lumberjacks at 132. 10 years since Wausau East has had a state qualifier.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Teague. We've been kind of watching him all year round and all year long and just pulling for him and being that guy that's going to be that trendsetter for the team, right, and helping Wausau East take that next step as far as the program. And just proud of him for making it, and good luck to him at state. He's got a tough first round match in Chance Sudduth. So Teague, you're up first, right?
Yeah, I got the first pick here, and again, I'm not making any friends with the Menominee folk on this one, because I really do like Ari's game. Whoever wins this bracket, Steve, is going to have to go through a grind. But what I've seen from a Brian Winans this year, and I even made the mistake of picking against him at the Husky, and he proved me wrong. I'm going to take another Kaukauna Ghost in the 2 spot, winning their bracket. Whatever happens, Steve, the fans win here, but my pick is going to be Winans.
There you go. Yeah, good pick. I was gonna go with Peach. I knew they wrestled each other last year. I didn't know it was 5 times, but I thought maybe a new conference. But you threw me all the way to the other side of the bracket. I'm gonna take Kellen Ari in this one to win the 132-pound weight class.
All right, 138 pounds, Steve. You got Grayson Clark of Kaukauna looking for his 4th state title. I think we'll be speaking more on him in the postseason. But fun wrestler to watch. I guess I'll give him that for now. We got the 4 seed Xavier Guerrero from Waukesha West, who's put up 53 wins on the year. Brett Franklin from Marshfield as the 5 seed. He's someone who I could see out wrestling his seed in this one. The 3 seed, Mr. Connor O'Donnell from South Milwaukee. I know he was a 3 seed last year. He fell just short of placing. I see him making it on the podium this year. The 2 seed in this bracket is Reese Wild of Thornberry, down on the bottom side of this bracket. Steve, 138 pounds. I guess, what do you make of the bracket? Or wait, is it? It's your pick here. Yeah, we'll just okay.
Pick first, but man, I Teague, you're better with this. Connor Krieger, tough wrestler as well. I don't know what he's ranked, but are seated. But geez, this is a heck of a bracket. It's a real fight for obviously second to get the finals, and good battle for third, because the champ is an easy one to pick. Grayson Clark is going to get his 4th state title.
All right, I will also be taking Grayson Clark here. 145 pounds. Steve,
oof.
How about this one, man? I love Jacob Ward for doing this. Going down to 145. He is the 1 seed, the defending 145-pound champion. If he wants to win his 2nd title, more than likely he'll have to be going through Wyatt Duchateau of Arrowhead, the 38-1 junior. State champ at 132, the Duchateau show, all that good stuff. Man, what a fun bracket that one is going to be. But Steve, even deeper than that, even deeper than the top 2 seeds. I mean, the 4-5 matchup potentially between Nilo and Starbacher could be a fun one. Even Starbacher's first round match, I think Gabe Galang as the 12 seed could be a dark horse to be one of the lowest seeds to place. That's I'll have that to say on the Wausau West senior. Eli Rabidou's a tough 13 seed. I said it yesterday, but a potential Hoyt Blaskowski versus Corbin Ramos matchup between the 3 and the 11 seed in the quarters. That would be a must-watch viewing. But Ramos first would have to get through the 6 seed in Connor Smith. So, I mean, this one's going to be a deep bracket. I think for me, the conversation ultimately comes down to 2 wrestlers. I did it last year, and I think the Ward family appreciates me for it. I just see if I pick against them, Jacob seems to go out and win tournaments. I know you're the opposite way with Ward. So, Steve, if we happen to go opposite here, I'll let you have your boy, because I'm going to take the Duchateau show at 145.
Hey, did you really talk about our other boy that we talk a lot about? Did you mention him, Hoyt Blaskowski?
Yeah.
Oh, did you? I was totally I think I'm still thinking about who I'm going to pick. You know, I picked Jacob Ward as a sophomore. I picked him as a junior. Every tournament he's gone to, I have picked him. Jacob Ward, take this as motivation. Wyatt Duchateau is just impressive wrestler. I have to pick him. I apologize. I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, come find me and rub it in my face. But Wyatt Duchâteau is my pick.
I love it. Steve, at 152 pounds, you have Jake Stoffel from Appleton North, who placed third last year in that 132 bracket, which you just see names from all over the place there at the top of brackets. He's a 40-1 junior. He's the 1 seed. Steve, get this. He might have a state runner-up in the quarterfinals. Talon Schutte of Germantown got the 8 seed in this bracket, which is just mind-boggling. The rest of the top of this bracket, Joel Sullivan from Wilmot's the 5 seed. Carson Otis from Kimberly is the 4. Otis and Stoffel have had some good battles. I know if we got our Northeast guys still commenting in here. If you want to talk about those matchups, I'd love to hear it now before I make my pick. But, yeah, Otis is the 4 seed. And talk about postseason matchups, Steve. The 2 and the 3 seed, Caleb Cady of Pewaukee and Brett Scoug of Brookfield East wrestled on Saturday. Cady did beat him. The 22-1 sophomore is the 2. So that could be a fun matchup that we see in the semis. But Steve, Scoug would first have to get the 6th seed, get past Caleb Dene of Marshfield, who has just been on an absolute. He's been amazing to watch this year, man. It's been awesome to see how he's been doing. Yeah. Also, TJ Sherrill 43-3 at the 7 spot. Yeah, we could go a lot of ways with this bracket,
sure.
But I'll let you make the first pick on this one.
I will say this. I think it's a wide open weight class. If I was going to go with my high pick, I would take Sherrill, but it's really tough to pick against Jake Stoffel. He's battle tested. He's wrestled a lot of good wrestlers and won. So I'm taking the Appleton North wrestler in this one.
Well, okay. I was thinking about going Stoffel. Gosh, this is such a deep bracket. Like, I almost feel like I should be going against you. But, Steve, I can't do it, which means if someone else wins, they get to rub it in both of our faces. I'm also going with Stoffel. He's always impressed me, man, and I'm going to run with him this year. We got Mr. Paul Stump, who also agrees that Stoffel wins that bracket. All right, Steve, 160 pounds, the 1 seed, Charlie Millard of Homestead. Just took part of that absolute classic against Mitch Messenbrink in Arrowhead last year in the 152 finals. The 5 seed is Jack Gillis from New Berlin, who New Berlin with the slew of state qualifiers, which you'll love to see. Cale Roth from Stevens Point, the 43-4 senior, is the 4 seed. The 3 seed, Steve, this might be setting up for one of my favorite quarterfinals matchups. You have Garrett William-White of Marshfield, and then I potentially see him going against Liam Crook of Kaukauna, the 41-4 freshman. Crook is the 6 seed here. They could have maybe wrestled at Cheesehead, but the matchup just never came to fruition. I just got to say, not a big fan of Crook's dad, but other than that, great kid.
Yeah.
The 2 seed here, we have Caden Brandenburg of Janesville Parker, the 48-3 junior. And then I got to give a shout out to Mr. Jackson Hughes of Onalaska Luther, Steve. Onalaska Luther's first state qualifier since, I had the note pulled up here. First state qualifier in 6 years. So love to see that for one of my local programs. Good. And
nice.
Yeah, that's what I got. Also, another Kuwakin in here after Xander made it. His brother made it last year at 160 pounds. Also, Brad, if you're still listening, I love you, man. Yeah, Xander at 46-7 is the 10 seed. So, yeah, that's again another fun bracket. But I got the first pick on this one. I think this one is Millard's bracket to lose, and I'm going to stick with them.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I talk about this a couple times on the podcast. I watched Charlie Millard warm up at Mid-States, and he was kind of standing in front of me. And that time, I call him a little guy. I know he's a huge man now, but I think he wrestled 138. And just the intensity of the dude, he freaked me out with his warm up and his intensity and his stare. So ever since then, I've just kind of been following him and watching how he's done. And I think this can be a good battle. I think there could be these are one of these weight classes where some unsung heroes could come and rise up, and we'll never forget their names. But Charlie Millard is my pick for this one.
All right, Steve, I got to give a shout out. We still got like 120 people on, probably not the same 120 people, but this is just going to be our longest episode. It's always going to be that way. And want to thank everyone for sticking on with us. We have a good time with this one. And now that we have the chat added to it, it makes it that much more fun. So going to 170 pounds, Steve, Ethan Riddle from Germantown, the state champ from last year, seems to have gotten exponentially better since that point. 48-2 senior is the 1 seed. Hey, give a shout out, Steve, to Aiden Worden from Fort Atkinson, the 41-6 senior in at that 9 spot. Love to see Owen Griesbach from Marshfield getting the 5 seed as a 38-5 sophomore. Judah Hammond from Kaukauna is the 4 seed. Don't know if Hammond and Griesbach have wrestled, but that'd be a fun matchup if that happens, if we potentially see that happen the following weekend as well. Steve, I like the name game here. I hope Jen's still tuned in on this one, or Senora Ott, as she goes by in her classroom. But you got a battle of the Benjamins as Benjamin Ott, the 6 seed. He's on the other side of this quadrant from Benjamin Otto of a Brookfield Central. Yeah, you just add an O with that one. It tripped me up for a second there. Also, Ben Ott, part of the rig. Still got my headband here somewhere. Santino Batista from Badger, 31-4 senior. Seems like Badger has decent representation at state. And Caden Young from Toronto Community, friend of the show, is the 2 seed in this bracket. And you got the first pick.
Shout out to, I'm going to give, hopefully I'm saying his last name right, but I got to watch him 2 weeks ago. Santino Batista from Badger. Impressive guy. He's one that wouldn't surprise me if he.
Hey, can everyone else hear Steve, or am I the only one that lost him? Wait, can you hear me, Steve? I can't hear you. I might be muted. Did you lose sound to both of us? Oh,
am I back?
Oh, all right, Steve, you're back. All right. Hey, Steve, let's hear about your 170-pound pick. Everyone missed you. Wow. They were quick on that.
Oh, that's all right. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I got a little excited. I'm just gonna Ethan Riddle's my pick. We'll just skip the build up.
What, you had like a 30-second thing? What? No.
Well, I was talking about. All right, I'll say this real quick. Hopefully I say his name right, but Santino Batista from Badger. I got to watch him wrestle a couple weeks ago, and I wouldn't be surprised if that young man makes it to the podium in what's going to be a tough battle for those top 6 medals. But Ethan Riddle is my pick for champion in this one.
Yeah, I'm also going with Riddle on this. I just want to say Caden Young looking to make the podium. If he makes the finals, I'll be very happy for that dude. Just seems like a good kid, so it's one of those guys that I'm rooting for, and it's going to be a lot of good wrestling at 170. 182 pounds, Steve. A lot of good Northeast representation in this one, as you have Michael Alexander from De Pere, who's the 1 seed, couple-time state place winner. If he wants to make it to the finals, I'm guessing his path in the semis either goes through Trenton Gibbons of Pulaski or Drew Wenzicki of Kaukauna. Those 3 were in the same sectional last year, Steve, and Wenzicki was the odd man out, so Wenzicki could exact some revenge here. Gibbons beat Alexander at state last year, and then Alexander beat Gibbons at sectionals just on Saturday. Going to be fun to see how that shakes out. Mr. Tony Rambo. Winkleman is the wild horse in this one. Yeah, so we can even extend Northeast to just North in general, as Ethan Winkleman is the 8 seed here. And if anyone's seen Tony Rambo, I'm just going to agree with the man. I will never disagree with him. Yeah. Great guy, too, as well. We got
That's
Casey
right.
Gish from West Bend East, the 44-5 senior, is the 3 seed, looking to repeat or top his third place performance from last year. He's got Travis Moore from Union Grove at the 6th spot. And Noah Mulvaney from Arrowhead is the 2 seed here. Steve Mulvaney looking to win his first state title this year. Is that this the year he does it? I guess I got to comment on it first since I got the first pick. As much as I just gave a lot of love to the guys on the top side of the bracket, or the north side of the bracket as we'll call it in this one, I respect Mulvaney's game. I love the way that he wrestles. And, he's fallen short a few times in the last couple of years, and I think this is the year that he does it. It kind of reminds me of a Jack Gano story when he took out Luke Meckler at the Kaukauna High School Gym in state finals a couple years ago. I got Noah Mulvaney capturing his first state title this year.
Teague, I think it's going to be a tight one, and I'm doing this for this reason. I think he can win. I think it's going to be tight. But I believe this is one of the only, as I look forward here, one of the only ones that we're going to have separate picks. I'm going to go with the Piers Michael Alexander in this one to be the 182-pound champ.
Let's go. I am excited. I hope that ends up being the finals match. All right.
Well, he's got to get by Gibbons, right?
Yeah, he has to get by. Has to get by Winkleman in the quarters as well. Man, that just made me that much more excited for 182. I think for that year, I think one of us went Ganos and the other one went Meckler too. So, yes, history might be repeating itself here, Steve. 195 pounds, Connor Mirasola from West Bend West. Heard he might be wrestling somewhere in Pennsylvania tonight. He is the 1 seed, looking to go for 3 for 3 on state titles so far in his career, Steve-O. Looking at some other people in this bracket, Eric Schaufelberger from Neenah is a really good 9 seed in this bracket. Thomas Riley from Kenosha Bradford is going against Schaufelberger. Owen Soyberg from Watertown, I've heard a lot about him, but I haven't seen him wrestle, so I know I'll be watching the 5 seed at the state tournament. Trey Schinker from Reedsburg, who we brought up, helped him and a lot of other qualifiers for the Beavers. Part of that first-time state qualifying team that we'll be talking about more next week. Steve, this could be a potentially fun matchup. Hunter Gibbon from Oak Creek, who's a state qualifier, just seems to have jumped a lot of levels this year. He's going against Zach Peterson in a 3-14 matchup in the first round. Bottom of the bracket, we got Ryder Deppies of Merrill, who picks up the 2 seed here.
Yeah, and I'm picking first Makai Rogers. I'm going to give him a shout out. Brown Deer Messmore, I think the second Brown Deer qualifier, freshman up at the big fella, up at the with all the mostly upperclassmen, seniors and juniors. Obviously, Owen, a sophomore. Braden Zollner, obviously Elkhorn area, good wrestler as well. Just a solid weight class, but the championships. The guy that's going. We just talked about him early on as far as where he's going to wrestle at Penn State commit. Connor Mirasola.
I am doubling down on the Mirasola pick. Division I at 220 pounds. Steve, the 1 seed. Aiden Sinclair from Milton, state champ last year. See, this is a deep bracket. I know a lot of focus is going to be on Sinclair, but Jesus Gonzalez from Reedsburg, who his only 3 losses are to Beckett Spildy of Stoughton, is the 8 seed here. The potential 4-5 matchup between Ryan Major of McGuanago and Mason Wells of Pulaski could be a really fun quarterfinals matchup. Garrett Kovchinski of Port Washington, Steve, we know how good the freshman is. But if he wants to make it to the finals as a 3 seed, has quite a path as Beckett Spildy, not an easy out by any means in the quarters. And then Brock Arndt from Appleton North, who's an absolute tank, placed 3rd last year in the state. They could meet in the semifinals. A potential Arndt-Kovchinski matchup in the semis would be one. It'd be a great gauge to see how good, Kovchinski, we know he's good, but it would just be fun to see what he's made of there. But hey, Steve, I guess Brock Arndt has to get through the founder of our all-name team, the 43-6 senior in the quarters, Ryan Rambo, who has a sectional finals rematch in his first round against James Clements of Marshfield.
Yeah, and saw he avenged his couple losses he had at regionals, but yeah, that's gonna be a good one, bud. It's gonna be a good weight class.
And I got the first pick here. This is going to be one of those weight class. I guess I don't want to repeat myself, but going to be a lot of fun wrestling in general. Looking for that second place spot, I would say, or third place spot, depending on where you are in the bracket. But I think ultimately this comes down to Aiden Sinclair. So I'll be taking the junior from Milton in this one.
Teague, I'll take whoever you take at 220 pounds.
All right, that is fair. All right, 285 pounds, Steve. Cole Mirasola from West Bend West. Pulling a little Vito Massa storyline from last year, going from basically being 195 to wrestling heavyweight. The 49-2 junior is the 1 seed. Hey, it's funny we say Vito Massa from River Falls because he's taking on Lincoln McCarty from River Falls in the first round there. Steve, this one's just impressive. Evan Held from Nicolay, the 29-6 sophomore. I think he started the year behind another state qualifier in Max Solmacher, and now the starter and now making it to state. We get to see Troy Dietzler from Ashwaubenon wrestle at the state tournament as the 5 seed. Garth Martell from Oshkosh West is the 13 seed. He's going against Jordan Jackson of Wisconsin Lutheran. We haven't even got to the bottom side of the bracket. This heavyweight bracket's just ridiculous from top to bottom. But the bottom side of the bracket, Steve, you have 2-time runner-up from Stone, Griffin Empey at the 2 spot. If he wants to make the finals, he has to get through a state champion, Jackson Mankowski, who they've wrestled 3 times this year. It's
at least that. Yep.
I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, this is going to be a fun one, man. Talon Summers is the 7 seed from Franklin. Stromberg and Schneier as a 6-11 matchup. They both have 40-plus wins there. Steve, Vaughn Campbell from Bayport, who I think won the Battle on the Bay, is the 14 seed in this one. I mean, what else is there to say about this heavyweight bracket except you got the first pick here?
Here's what I'll tell you, everybody. Don't everybody. I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people leave early when some of their horses are gone. Do not leave early because these heavyweight matches are going to be amazing. Teague, I know there's people going to be yelling at me for this one and saying, "What are you doing?" But maybe the lesson got learned. I know he's going to be wrestling a smaller individual, and I think it's going to be a great final. Obviously, he's got to get there. He's got to get past the man-child Jackson Mankowski. But, you know, he's been in the finals twice. This is going to be his 3rd final. And I'm going to go with Griffin Empey, Teague. And it's hard to say the upset, right? Because he's been in the finals twice. But I'm going to go with the upset of Griffin Empey in this one.
All right. Oh, I should have let you pick second with that. That would have been a perfect way to end the show. I'm going against you. I'm taking the little man that's going to Happy Valley in a couple years here. Cole Mirasola. Not really a little man. Let's just cut that from the show. He's little for this bracket, but
he walked by me. Cole walked by me at the Battle of the Bay, and his back, I've never seen a dude with a thicker back than Cole Mirasola, man. It was just impressive.
Well, Steve, I like it. We get to end 285, D1 285 with a couple opposite picks here. So that'll be a fun way to end our state tournament. Folks, we still have 110 people watching. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Steve and I are going to be active, whether it be with commentary, if we're getting interviews with guys or doing match clips on the floor. We're going to be out and about, probably doing a lot of socializing. But that was our state tournament preview. Steve, state is in 3 days. Let's flip and go, man.
Let's go. You bet, man. Hey, everybody. Teague, thanks a lot. Great job. Everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in a few days.
All right, folks. Until Thursday, we will catch you on the flip side.